Dave and Mick.
Hello, Dara.
All right, Dave, you all right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can. Everything's fine. Thanks very much. Yeah.
Oh, good, good, good.
Mick's on the other line, I think, somewhere. He's got to unmute his microphone.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a nice little nook that you have there, Dave.
Oh, yeah, this is my studio.
Very nice.
Thank
Can
you.
you see me, guys?
Hello, Mick.
Can you see me now?
Yeah,
Yes,
I can see you in all your glory. Absolutely.
Okay. Brilliant.
Absolutely. So how are you both? You all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good, yeah.
Well, first of all, congratulations on the release of the LP. It's a beautiful record, and that's why I'm talking to you. I wouldn't be talking to you otherwise. I listened to it countless times, and to me, it's unequivocally Scouse record in many, many ways. Not just in terms of its background, its back end, its genesis, but its sound. And it is a sound that I know is organic. It's not contrived in any way whatsoever. But could you talk about that? Talk to it a little bit in terms of, you've made this record, you appreciate that it is a part of not so much a movement, but there are a handful of artists who fall into a genre that are thoughtful songwriters, enhanced by beautiful melody, and can string it together to make a pop song. That's a very rare combination, but it doesn't seem to be as rare as Unicorn Poo on Merseyside.
Well, I don't think we set out to sound like a Liverpool band, but we are from Liverpool, so I suppose there's going to be a flavour there that we can't help. When I wrote the songs, I set out to tell a story, which I think most songwriters do, and obviously I'm inspired by some of the great Liverpool bands, and that's it, really. I don't think me and Dave ever try to pigeonhole ourselves, and I'm not saying you've tried that. I'm just we just whatever comes into our head, we just get it down in the best way we can, and we work on it, and we work on it until we think that's good enough, and that's what we've done with this album. I wrote.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. There's a bit of a delay. Go ahead.
I wrote the tracks. I wrote all the tracks in the bedroom of a council house, and
all right,
and sent them to Dave. The demos, they weren't rough demos. I'd done a bit of work on them. They were quite far down the line, and then obviously Dave comes in. Not only does he play the bass on them, and the bass on these tracks is absolutely fantastic. I'm biased, obviously, because he's one of my best friends, but his production is superb, and it always is, and that's why me and him have worked together for such a long time. And Dave puts all the icing on the cake, really.
You've answered all my questions all in one fell swoop, Mick, in terms of how you write. But no, it's fantastic. I mean, I know that. I was going to ask you before you go any further about the songwriting, because it's important. You wrote them in a council house over the course of how many months was that? Was that over the course of a handful of weeks or months?
So I think it took me about a year. Dave will back me up on it, or he'll correct me if I'm wrong. It took me about a year to write 12 tracks.
Yeah.
And then. But what I want to do is, if you've ever seen the old series, Banachek, the old 70s series, that's what me and Dave are like. I'll write something and I'll think, oh, I like this. This has got legs. So then I'll send it to Dave and go, what do you think of this? And he'll get back to me and he'll go, not sure about that one. Or he'll get back to me straight away and go, I really like that. We'll keep that one. And then we just do, that's what we do. And we just bat everything between each other backwards and forwards. And we just work on all the things that we think are the the best of the material I write. That's we just work on that and develop that, and that's what the Green Lilac Park. That's how that became what it is now. We by a lot of hard work from the two of us, not just me, but from Dave, but also from Josh McCartney, from Emily Casey, and from Phil Melville, and from Andy Diagram, and from the poetry on the album itself, from the very wonderful Jeff Young.
Yeah, yes, it's quite a CV, isn't it? Really, that you've put together it.
Well, you know, I mean, we've been doing this for quite a while now, Dara. But I mean, this album took 2 years from the beginning, from the very first song I wrote, which was Goodbye James. That's the very first song I wrote. Some of the tracks on this album I had in sort of like in my little notepad, so to speak.
Okay.
But from the very first song that I wrote to like it being released a couple of days ago, it's taken about 2 years.
Have you been a patient man in the interim, or you've been chomping at the bit?
Well, you'd be best asking Dave that, because
how's he been, Dave? Has he been behaved?
Yeah, I think his patience has been, rewarded. I think because these things take time, and one of the things I think that became obvious was I've said before, like the obvious thing to do, or the usual procedure, is that you get the demos and then you redo the demos for the finished LP.
Yes.
And I don't know, I just thought early on that there was no need to do that. I thought that, his home demos, the guitars were recorded well, so I didn't see any need to redo the guitars just for the sake of it, because they were a demo. And then eventually it became that way with the vocals as well, where we used, I would say about 80% of the original vocals from the demos. And I like that because I did the last Shack LP, and I love the idea of, with the last Shack LP, technology had moved on to the point where I could get the computer to follow Ian Templeton's drums rather than Ian Templeton play to a click track.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah. And it was just, we'd done demos of the Shack LP, which was the Corner of Miles and Gill I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We'd done demos of that in my studio, and we'd done it to loops, and we'd done it to drum machines and things like that. And Mick and John were like, "Oh yeah, we'll get Ian to play to them." And I knew Ian, and I knew how good he was. But then when I actually got in the studio with him, he fucking blew my mind how good he was. And I said to them, I'm not getting him to play to a click track, So we worked it out the way that I could actually import his drums and get the computer to follow him for anything else that I need to add. And we're only talking about like string arrangements and keyboards and things like that. So anyway, technology has moved on so much since I did the Corner of Miles and Gill that I just thought, hang on a minute, these demos that Mick has sent, there's something about them that he obviously loves. It's like he's worked on them. It's not like it's just him and a guitar sending me the rough basics of a song. He'd worked on vocal sounds and stylistic things.
Yeah.
That I just thought it would be a shame to lose them.
Yeah.
So what we eventually a decision was made that wouldn't it be a good idea to keep as much of the demos and surround them with other things, you know, like not necessarily dressing them up, but actually, dressing them up. So it was like, you know, for Hey Mother, for instance, which is a very personal song, Mick had a trumpet line. So for a while, we worked with him singing the trumpet line, and then me replacing him singing the trumpet line with a sampled trumpet, which was great.
Yes.
But then we both had in mind getting Andy Diagram involved.
Yeah.
So we said to Andy, right, Mick's got this idea for a trumpet line. This applies also to the song The Spaniard.
That's my favourite, by the way, but for what it's worth.
Thank you. But it was like, right, okay, here's where it starts, and we want you to do that. But then we want you to develop it into something else.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, take it somewhere. And I think that's where getting the extra musicians on the LP and on the demos is so important, because we never dictated to them what they had to do.
Yeah.
It was always, this is a starting point for you. Run with it wherever you want, you know. And I think it's just been wonderful. I mean, Andy's always amazing. Whenever I work with him, he gives you too much. You know, he will say to you, "Oh, right, yeah." Like for instance, "Hey Mother," and he said, "I've extended the song."
Yeah.
Because he's savvy with tech and that, you know. I've extended the song a bit just to give you a choice of things to chop and like cut up and paste wherever you want.
Yeah.
So actually what we did was we kept his extended version and kept all of it.
Brilliant.
You know, because why would you chop and change? It's fucking perfect, you know. Why would you actually take scissors to it, you know? But just the fact that that's the way he works, you know, it is wonderful, you know. He's just such a pleasure to work with. And the fact that when you get other people involved and you give them that freedom,
yes,
often it comes back to you where they've listened to the song, and without you telling them, they know what it's about. They know the feeling that you're going after, and it gives them that independence and freedom to push that forward, you know. And like the same with Phil Melville, the guitarist that we have.
Yes.
We know he's a great guitar player because we worked with him on the windmill stuff we've done. However, he's secretly a fucking great pianist as well.
Okay.
And he's on 2 tracks on piano. And he's just got an upright piano in his house. And it was wonderful. I've got in my studio Steinways, you know, VST plugins that are fucking Steinways and like Yamaha grand pianos and everything. He's got a little battered upright piano in his house.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. And if you listen to like Hey Mother, the creaking on the pedals that we kept in and that, you know, adds to it, you know. It's wonderful. But the main thing I'm trying to say is that, like, from mixed demos, rather than going in and replacing them and removing all of that original warmth and beauty in the songs that he'd crafted, we've added to it. And it's become something I'm so proud of it as a producer.
It's a beautiful record. It really is.
But I defy anyone to say, "Oh, that's demos," you know.
I couldn't, because, well, first of all, it's a testament to Mick and how he translates his craft into something presentable, but also you, whereby you acknowledge what you've received and appreciating it to the nth degree, and having the well, I think it's an unmitigated lack of ego to be able to give yourself to the project, to be able to be a part of it, and you've become a catalyst of sorts. And I marvel at your work. I marvel at what the likes of Mick does, but I marvel at with my token audio engineering qualification. You're up there in the echelons for me, where it comes to the art of bang-on production, whereby the term overproduction is so commonplace nowadays. It's sickening. It's your speakers just can't handle the amount of tracks and the amount of overdubs and the amount of nonsense.
Thank you, and acknowledge all of that. But I've always thought that, like, production is all about being sympathetic to what is needed, what the song demands, and like with whether I've done it with Space or whether I've done it with Shaq or whoever I've ever produced.
Yes.
There's, in my mind as a producer, there is no producer's ego involved. It has to be about the song. And that is the ultimate important thing, is the song, what the song needs. It's not about showing off and that, because I've always fucking hated that. And me and Mick are both punks. And and the whole thing of, like, if you take, like, I loathe British prog and that, things like Emerson, Lake and Palmer and Yes and things like that. But paradoxically, I love German krautrock, which is basically the same thing.
It is.
However, I think it might just be a German mentality where it's discipline. So if you get a band like Can,
yes,
you will get Michael Caroli playing a fucking brilliant guitar part, and Herman Schmidt, the keyboard player, won't be doing anything. But then when he thinks of something, he'll nod to the guitarist and he'll shut up and he can take over. Whereas if you've got Yes or whatever, they're all playing fucking 5 different songs at the same time.
That's right.
And they're all soloing over each other, and it's confusion and it's horrible. So I've always kept that punk mentality where it's what would be the best for this song. Right, okay. So, and I love Eno as well. And I know we both love Eno. And early Eno was brilliant at removing things.
Yeah.
It's like, so you've recorded 10 things. Maybe it only needs 5 to succeed. Whereas a lot of people were precious about those other 5 things. Oh no, well, I really need that in there. You don't. It's got to be, what is the minimum this song can exist on? And I'm sorry I've waffled on for ages.
No, you haven't. No, you really hit home to me that you're the recipient of I mean, God, forgive me for simplifying something so complex, but I mean, Mick is brilliant at his craft. He delivers to you a wonderful skeleton for you to appreciate, look at, and then add to. Sorry?
To clothe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, the best suit you can give it.
Yeah. Sartorial excellence is what you're after, yeah?
I'm a fledgling songwriter, though. I mean, I've only been songwriting for about 10 years. And I know that sounds like a long time, but it's not really, because I'm still trying to perfect my craft. I'm quite serious about it. I love music. I'm like you and Dave. Music is an obsession. It's like a disease almost.
Yeah.
But
it is, yeah.
What I will say, and I know you've got a lot of other questions to ask us that we need to get through, but what I will say is I'm very blessed because I've got people like Dave Palmer. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when you're a songwriter and you're trying to tell a story, you've got to write the lyrics by yourself. But the thing is, you try to, and you know this, Dara, you're looking for atmospheres, you're looking for a place to tell the story from. Mm. And Dave has got this amazing ability to stand in my head and to see what I'm trying to say and go, yeah, I get that. And he's done it for years. And also, he's quite a fantastic bass player as well. So that, yet again, is another brilliant skill of interpretation that he's got.
It certainly is.
We were very lucky. We were very lucky. Very sadly, Ian Templeton died, very sadly. And this album's dedicated to him. And I'll come on to something at the end of the interview with that.
Okay.
But we were very, very blessed to get Joshua McCartney. And we all know who Josh is. We know his family ties. We know the absolutely fantastic stock that he comes from. But he's a wonderful person. And he's a brilliant drummer. And Dave will mention more about that as we go through the interview, because it was Dave that got him in. Dave got him into his living room with 3 microphones, Dara, just 3 microphones, and recorded drums like in the garage, in the punk garage days type of style, which I absolutely loved. And he did a brilliant job there. The two of them did a brilliant job. But we were also very blessed to have Phil Melville, who's an exquisite musician. Mm-hmm. And as me and Dave found out, to our complete amazement and made us so happy, he's a fantastic piano player, because the piano he plays on Hey Mother just blew me away. But then we also found, well, Dave found this young girl called Emily Casey, she's like a modern day Kate Bush. And I hope I'm not overstating her talents there, but her voice is just beautiful, I think. It's just incredible. And she'll be working a lot more with us. And then to top it all off, we've got like Jeff Young, this celebrated author and playwright who's such a wonderful human being, who come in and he's written a poem for the ages, I think, Dara. When me and Dave write that poem, I will be quick. Yeah. That's what it looks like. It's like all the words he's put down on that piece of paper seems to me to be what people are thinking now. And I'm really, really lucky to have these people around me. I really am.
Well, I think you make your own luck, but that's, to a large degree. So I know that you're very, very humble about the whole thing, but I understand what you're coming from. You do work with some wonderful people. You being one of them yourself, you're part of a greater collective. And one thing, this is not about specifically about Dave's past production, but when I speak to some of the bands that he has produced, they've got a similar understanding. So if I rewind back to the beginning and say that I've been the recipient of this LP, no track listing, no nothing. No sequencing, just there's the tracks. I would be able to tell you where it was from. That's all I was trying to say in my whole feeble way.
Yeah, I love that, Dara. I love that. That's fantastic. That is, yeah.
Yeah, and it's something that there's a naivety that you have when you first listen to something. You've got that very, very short amount of objectivity before it becomes really subjective and become personal to you.
The thing is, Dara, right? Some of the bands that have really inspired me, I sat in with Keith Mullen from The Farm when he was recording that amazing riff to Groovy Train. I was in the studio and helped get the vocal sound with Tommy Scott to Money, that brilliant track that he did that sounded like Al Bowley. Yeah. And I was also in Pink Studios recording at the same time as what's the name of the band now? They did Enola Gay, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. And I listened to them. And these are the Liverpool bands that I grew up with that made me go, I want to be like that, like the Real People. I used to go and see the Real People in Bootle when they very first began. And I'm not joking. They were absolutely fucking amazing live.
They're the real Oasis, they are, in my opinion. But
well, there you go. Oasis wouldn't be Oasis if it wasn't for Tony and Chris. It's as simple as that, Dara. You know what I mean? And I can't believe Tony and Chris were not invited as some kind of support on this tour. I really can't.
That's
another thing. That's another thing altogether, though, isn't it?
You know what, to interrupt, sorry, Mick, but I think it's taken so many years where I think Tony and Chris have recently started talking about exactly what they did with Oasis a bit more honestly than they've ever done before. I think they've always been a bit diplomatic.
Yes.
Yeah.
About it before, whereas now I think they're just being a bit more honest about how much they were fucked over and things like that, you know.
Just to butt in there very quickly, that first album by The Real People is monumental. There's some of the songs on that, and I mean, I used to go and see them play them songs live, and I'm telling you now, the energy and the atmosphere and the buzz that they brought to the stage,
crazy.
I remember seeing them at Marsh Lane. Like there was like a Marsh Lane Centre in the day. They used to rehearse there actually as well. And me and a mate of mine called Paul Bruce, who has worked extensively with Baby Shambles for years. We used to go and watch them there, and honestly, they were a different level. They were, and they're such nice lads as well. Anyway,
different gravy. Anyway, we digress again. It's all a part of the larger community, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I can just back up the fact that, you know, they are such nice people.
Yeah, they are.
The two brothers are so amazingly nice. Where I've worked with Oasis because I co-managed Shack, and we did the last 12 dates. The previous, you know, they'd just been on tour.
Yeah,
we did the tour before it. And whereas I always got on with Liam, I'd like to say I think Noel is an accountant with a guitar.
he's a spreadsheet merchant, isn't he?
That's it. You know, that's all I got. Whereas Liam walks the walk that he fucking presents to everyone. You know, I have got no complaint, apart from I think they're a pair of cunts at the moment because of the amount of like money they're charging for, you know, it, and the fact that they'll make 5 million each after who needs 5 million each off a tour, you know? Sorry, I mean, if you look at one of my least favourite people over the years is the bloke from Paul Heaton.
Oh, from the beautiful South and the House Mines. Beautiful
South. And he did a stadium tour. And he said, like, he'd make profit at the end of it. And he charged £25 a ticket.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Where the fuck do you come off suddenly inflating the price to 350 quid a ticket? Just, there is no need for it. And the fact that they want it, they're millionaires anyway. Why do they want another 5 million each? It's like, I hate this thing at the moment with everything. It's not just music and that, where you're collecting money.
That's just greed.
For what?
I mean, the bottom line.
Though?
Yeah, but Dave, the bottom line of anything that is untoward, if you peel back all the layers of the onion skin, it's avarice and it's greed. Because too much is not enough for these dickheads.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm so pleased that Pulp are back.
Yeah.
Pulp were the best Britpop band ever. Yeah. And they surpassed Britpop. And Jarvis is so funny. And he's so cool. And the fact that on his solo LP, he had that song that everyone tried getting to #1. Cunts Rule the World.
That's right.
You know? This man is fucking great, and his band are back, and they sound like Pulp, and they are wonderful, you know?
They're refreshing, that's for sure. Yeah.
Much better than Oasis. I'd rather go and see them than fucking Oasis.
Yeah, but it has to be said, though, lads, the version of Cigarettes and Alcohol from the recent Cardiff show was fantastic.
I know, yeah, honestly, right, so how can they get that wrong, though?
I know. You know, but here's the thing, though.
Right, it's like on the Filthy Lucre tour that the Pistols did years ago. The version of anything they did was fucking great because you just can't get it wrong. As long as you play it right, you can't get it wrong.
Understood. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
There's no artistic development of these songs. They're just fucking there.
No.
You know, it's not like they've extended cigarettes and alcohol to include a psychedelic fucking solo or anything. You know, it's just they played it the way it's supposed to be played.
Yeah, it's verbatim.
Another quick one now. Another band from Liverpool, and we've mentioned them briefly, is The Farm. They've just released a brilliant album.
Peter was on the show a few weeks ago, actually.
Well, it just goes to show that. Yeah. It goes to show that real songwriting talent and real class never goes away, because they're another group of lads who are lovely lads, and especially Keith Mullen. I know Keith. And what a lot of people don't realise about him is that he's a brilliant jazz guitar player. Keith is a very good guitar player. Keith.
I had no idea.
But that album they've just released blew me away. It's just, and I've listened to it a few times now, and they're back with a bang. I mean, you know, Spartacus was a great album, and now they've come in with this, and you just think, fucking hell, how did he do it? And that's what me and Dave look at. You know, so you know, we're inspired by quite a lot of stuff, not just Liverpool bands. We're inspired by many bands. My favourite album is Nevermind the Bollocks. That album there. Well, you've got an album of 10 singles, and that, funnily enough, to bring it right back round to the Green Lilac Park, in the very early days of recording, I said to Dave, I said, I know I've got next to no chance of achieving this, but I'd like to try and write 12 singles, not just 10. Let's go for 12. Yeah. I'd like to write an album full of songs that could be standalone singles, like Nevermind the Bollocks. Put them all on an album with a collective vibe and a collective atmosphere and a tale that is told from the beginning to the end, like Nevermind the Bollocks was. It was a statement one. It was like a social statement at the time.
It was a dictionary of the time, and it was. And again, the sequencing in that record was so important, as you can probably attest to.
Oh yeah. But so that's what we did at the Green Lilac Park. We wanted to have something like that you could live within. That you could put your headphones.
But as you've just said, Dara, the sequencing is super important. You know.
Yeah. It is. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't buy many records anymore for the sole reason that I buy so much music. I can't afford it. I mean, I buy as much vinyl as I can, but I buy CD and digital. And I miss sometimes dropping the needle, and you know you got the 4 or 5 songs that are sequenced for good reason on side A. And there's good reason why there's the last song on side A. There's good reason for the last song on the B side and the lead track on the B side. So I get it, and it all adds to what Mick wanted and wants, what you've helped deliver. I think it really truly is it's an album, and that I don't want to simplify it. Proper album.
But that was so important that we both believe in the album itself as an art form.
Sure, yeah.
It is something that you put on, and it's an escape. Like Mick can go on in a minute about the Green Lilac Park itself being a refuge, and but the main thing is that right, okay, so in the old days, well, and now with vinyl, you have to actually stand up and get up and turn it over.
Yeah.
But with CD, I love CD. I mean, that's I don't subscribe to the new vinyl thing and that, because I think it's a rip-off, to be honest, you know.
Crikey, I'll tell you what, I'm glad you said that, because if I'd have said that, I'd get it in the neck, but I agree with you. Know,
if you pay 30 quid for the Velvet Underground first LP, if you're into vinyl, go to your local second-hand shop, because you might be able to pick it up for like 10 or 15 quid instead of 30 quid, you know. Yeah, and you've got an original. Anyway,
yes.
What I was saying was, the whole thing about people used to make albums that took you somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of modern LPs are just a collection of songs that don't connect to each other. They're just basically, even though Mick said before that he would like to make something that was 12 singles, thematically the album hangs together. Whereas a lot of people, and I'm not knocking them here, but like people like Dua Lipa and that just have 10 great singles.
That's right.
And there's no theme or anything to it, But with the Green Lilac Park, it was important to us that it was an album that you could put on and open a bottle of wine or whatever, smoke a spliff if you want to, whatever, and it takes you somewhere and you drift off to it and you go somewhere that,
That's right.
for 40 minutes or 35 minutes, it's another world. And that's what albums used to be like,
Exactly.
It's a complete thing, and I think we've achieved that magnificently. And I'm not being egotistical here, because it was just hard work. And what I said before about the trying to get the right track listing was super, super important.
Of course, yeah.
And like the first song is the Bare Bones Band, A Day for Tomorrow. It's just the four of us with no embellishments whatsoever. And then later on in the LP, you've got orchestral things coming in, and you've got keyboards coming in, and even synths coming in and things like that,
Yeah.
And then the LP towards the end gets a little bit serious and dark. Especially there's a song called Passenger Seat.
Yeah, makes it's lyrically brilliant, that song.
But it's the shortest track on it, but I think it's the most profound. And then after it, you've got this beaming ray of light that is Because You Can. And it is just the most forgiving song that is just, don't give in to your inner fears, because you are capable of anything.
Yeah.
And that is one of the greatest messages you can ever give. And testament to Mick that, he's written something, I think, that is so all-inclusive of everything. And no matter your sexuality or whatever, it's just, don't believe you can't do it. That's the message of it. Don't believe you can't do it, because you can.
That's a brilliant underlying theme to the whole shooting match. Lads, listen, this is on Zoom. Zoom gives you it in 40-minute chunks. Now,
right.
Our 40-minute chunk is running out. If you would love to continue this, which I would,
I'd love to continue it, but
so I'll send you another invite for 6:45, which is in 7 minutes.
Okay.
Is that okay? And then I'll stitch this together, and it'll just be one piece.
Can I ask you something now then, before I forget, Dara?
Yeah.
You're doing a review of the album, aren't you?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on YouTube, and I'm going to surround it with some tracks, and I'm going to record a podcast around it.
Okay. Because if you were going to do a written review,
and
I thought Sean said you were, but it doesn't matter if you do or you don't. I was just going to say to you to mention that this album is dedicated to Ian Templeton's memory.
Yeah, it is, and that's a question I can't not talk
we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. And we're back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're loud and clear. Just waiting for Dave. Sorry about that. Okay. It's just that Zoom gives you 40-minute chunks.
I've got you.
Not much you can do about it, really.
I think Dave will be here. I think he'll be here in a sec.
Yeah. I've just resent him the login. And
okay, the email. Yeah.
So. Oh wow! I don't want to chat because I want to save everything for the interview. You know what I mean? If I chat now, I'll have to repeat myself. But it's a nice organic chat. I'm very happy that we're expounding the boundaries and not just talking about the basics. I mean, we're talking about a record. We're talking about a record with a ripple effect. We're talking about a record that has something to say. Rarely I fumble and I scour as I do on a weekly basis for new music. Sometimes you're in the mood for a dance. Sometimes you're in the mood to bang your head. Most of the time, I'm in the mood for intelligent lyrics and beautifully written melodies. And there aren't that many merchants who do that. This record that I'm lucky enough to be talking to you about is one of those rare records that completely surprised me. Came out of nowhere, and I want to have a physical copy. So that for me, that's the biggest accolade I can give anybody. Is I want a physical copy, and I want to spread the word. So that's as good as I can get. Oh, here's Dave.
Is he coming in?
Yep, he's coming. In 2 seconds, he'll be here.
Okay, he's just asked me, are you starting?
Yeah,
so he must be trying to get online.
Yeah, he's there. He's just doing his microphone. That's it. All right, Dave. All right, Dave. We are back. We are back in business.
Yeah, I thought it was automatic, but obviously not.
No, it's sorry about that. It's just one of those glitchy things. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. We don't want to take away from what we were talking about, and
no, it also gives Mick a chance to talk as well.
Yeah, but let's talk about Ian, if you don't mind, and then we can go back to some other things, because we mentioned Ian and we can't not talk about him. So for the uninitiated, can the pair of you give me a rundown on the importance of Ian and how sad it is?
Well, Ian, I've worked with Shaq, obviously, because he was Shaq's drummer. But then when Shaq finished, I roped them into my band Moongoose. And it was something Ian hadn't done before, because it was playing along to sequenced stuff. But even though he'd never done it before, he was fucking brilliant at it, I don't think he liked it that much, but he was just brilliant at it,
Yeah.
And then when he didn't do anything for ages after Shaq and that, he worked with a fella called Mike Mooney, who you might know, and they had something going. But anyway, when we were talking about what was going to be the third Windmill LP, Ian had got in touch with me, and I said, oh, he knew about Windmill and that, because he loved the Windmill stuff. But I said, Mick would love you to play on the next LP. And he said, his words were, I'm there.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Which was, it's so beautiful and succinct. It was just, I'm there.
Yeah.
And as I say, he loved 2 Windmill LPs that we'd released. So I was so made up about that. And Mick was completely over the fucking moon about it,
Yeah, I was.
And then unfortunately, he passed away.
Oh, yeah.
And so we started the LP, and initially it was going to be the third Windmill LP. But then when I heard the demos, it was obviously not a Windmill LP. And we had a wonderful singer called Dolan in Windmill. Beautiful voice. But it became obvious that the songs weren't really for Dawn, and I mean that it wasn't like they excluded it or anything. It was just like I'd say to Mick, like, okay, so out of these 6 songs, which ones do you think Dawn will be singing?
Okay.
And he'd be going,
Trying to be diplomatic.
and then it was like, hang on a minute, like, you know, you really don't want to hand these over to anyone else, do you? You know, because they were very personal songs, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Dawn would back us up, both of us up. You know, when we told Dawn, she was almost in complete agreement about it, you know. And it was just like, yeah, well, Dawn would be singing it. So, but Dawn singing 4 songs on the new Windmill LP and that, you know, I don't see it. So we had to make a decision that there's no more Windmill. You know, it's just finished. So anyway, um, with Ian passing and the decision to move on as something new with no name involved, we started using drum programs, and they're really good drum programs. And I love technology and that. And you know, drum programs are great. It's not just drum machine. I love drum machines, but it's not just a beatbox and things. You can really get a performance out of them, you know. And we were really happy with the way it was all going. But then I've got a friend from America called Kelly Stoltz. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Yeah, Kelly Stoltz, yeah.
Kelly Stoltz is a fucking legend.
Yeah.
And he's mates of mine and Mick's.
Okay.
And that, you know. So Kelly, one time he was over, had a bass amp, a lovely little Ampeg bass amp that I said, oh, I've never seen one of them before. It's amazing. And he gave me on the proviso that whenever he comes over here, because it was cheaper to give me it and borrow it than to keep bringing it over as, you know, freight. So he was coming over for a tour and he said, is it okay if my drummer picks it up? And I said, yeah, fine. So this lad turns up and Mick was round at the studio. And you know when you meet someone and you just hit it off?
Yeah.
And it was just brilliant, you know, and we were just chatting away and everything. And I said, oh, we're in the middle of an LP and recording an LP. Would you be interested in doing some drums for it? And he said, yeah, I've just got back into playing and that. And Mick then goes, oh, all right, so your name's Josh and that, you know, can I take your number? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, say your name. And he goes, McCartney. And he went, any relation? And he went, yeah, I'm his nephew, you know.
Yeah.
And it just floored us completely, you know.
There was that moment where me and Dave just looked at each other and looked at Josh and just went, I actually said to him, no, you're not. And he went, I am. And then we just went, the both of us just went, shit. And then it was, oh, he's just such a wonderful bloke. And, you know, his drumming is fantastic, isn't it, Dave?
But the thing is, that, you know, forget he's Paul McCartney's nephew. He's Mike McCartney or Mike McGee's son.
Yeah.
From the scaffold.
From the scaffold,
you know.
Right, Lily the Pink and all that,
Yeah, of course.
Brilliant.
So everyone forgets about Mike McCartney or Mike McGee, you know, which I always respected the fact that Mike McCartney changed his name to Mike McGee so he didn't piggyback off the success.
Very humble,
you know. And I respect that so much, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, what happened was we got Josh round to my house, and I sent my wife and my son out for a couple of days, a weekend, and we set him up in the living room, and with 3 mics recorded the drum takes, and he was fucking monumental. He was like, he'd learned everything. You know what I mean? It was like, you'd say to him, "Oh, let's do a day for tomorrow," and he'd look at his phone like this, and he'd just have a little note on it, and he'd go, "Okay," and then he'd record it.
He'd deliver.
And we would do 2 takes of every song, and I shit you not, we used the first take of every song. Now, the only person I've ever seen that from is I recorded with Tom Jones in the Cardigan studio in Sweden, and we did a thing for the Reload LP.
Oh, for the compilation, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Jones went in with Tommy, did the vocal, and then said to the producer, "I'll do another one." And the producers went, "Okay." And of course, there was no need to do another one because it's fucking Tom Jones. You know what I mean?
I do, yes.
But Josh was that good.
That's great.
I don't think I actually listened to any of the second takes of the drums, and it was just simply because not only is he great as a drummer, but he'd invested the time to learn the songs.
Yes.
And that again was a testament, I think, to how good Mick's songs were, that he just, and what he brought to it though was fantastic, because he does little things that we wouldn't have done if we were using the drum program.
Understood, yeah.
And it makes us sound like there's little movements that he does that go with the bass, and it makes me sound great, which I'm always up for, He was just brilliant, He was just brilliant.
Driving, honest to goodness, driving drums with the bass line. I mean, you talked earlier about can and discipline, and then we nearly ended up in the world of Marquis Smith there for a while, dangerously, with repetition.
Mine.
Oh, crikey. We could get into the fall another day.
I actually met Marquis Smith. Right. Finally met Marquis Smith.
The only person I've not interviewed that I wanted to interview is Mark, and I missed my chance.
Right. I met Marquis Smith quite late on. Yeah. And I asked it was at the academy in Liverpool, and I asked the fella, the lad who ran the academy, who's no longer with us. Unfortunately, he committed suicide. But I asked him if I could go down and meet Marquis Smith, and we had a chat and everything. And Ian McNabb was there,
Oh, yeah. Well, he's everywhere, isn't he? So, pretty well.
So Ian McNabb was giving Mark loads about, it's all right, that Mark, but you've been trawling around the fucking country for fucking 30 years doing the same fucking shit. And I kicked off on Ian McNabb, and I know Ian well, but I kicked off on him and going, hang on a minute, he's done fucking drum and bass. He's done fucking jungle. Yeah. He's done electronica. You're the one trawling the country with your fucking sub Neil Young shit. So Mark Smith is killing himself laughing. And do you want another fucking drink there, Yorkie, and that, So anyway, he said to me when I first introduced myself to him, he said, I said, "Oh, I'm Yorkie, I'm sorry. I said I used to play in a band called Space, and he went, I loved Space. And I said, that's very kind of you, but I don't believe it for a second, But anyway, suddenly I walk into Probe Records, and The Fall released a new LP called Your Future Our Clutter.
Yeah.
And John in Probe goes, I see you're on the new Fall LP. And as a reference to me, it goes, there goes that Yorkie.
That's
And I
amazing.
was the last one out of. So you had like Julian Cope, Ian McCulloch, Pete Wiley, who was
Everybody.
on Slate as a male slag.
That's a male slag.
And me, I ended up getting a Mark Smith name check,
That's amazing. Yeah, one of my most prized possessions is some autograph Fall stuff. Because anyway, we could talk your legs off, but Hanley must. Did you know Hanley at all?
Don't know any of them. No. One of my proudest things as a father, without pushing it, my eldest son is the biggest Fall fan ever.
Is he?
He's wonderful.
You got to tell him to come over to the basement.
He knows more about them than me.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not really a historian, but I'm one of those sort of anally possessive. I have to have everything on CD. I must own everything. And we talked about the disease of music, didn't we? I mean, it is obsessive. You just can't not. My wife keeps saying.
I explained that you're going to agree with this because I think and Mick will agree with it. But I had to explain to my wife a few years ago that I can't not do music because I would go insane.
It's the only thing
because she was suggesting that maybe give it up. I can't not because it's running round in your head.
It's inconceivable, Dave. It's inconceivable, man. You couldn't.
Of course. I mean,
Mick, I'm sure you get up first thing in the morning. You put music on. I mean,
I do.
In this insane spinning sphere of lunacy that we live.
I do, but there are times when I just want silence, though, as well.
Oh, yeah,
because I listen to that much music, there are times when I just want silence. But the one thing I want to mention, not very quickly, but just want to mention is the artwork for the album.
Oh, you've got another question of mine. Yeah, there you go.
Because so we had everything was going well. We had all the musicians we needed. What a great bunch they are. And
Josh mentioned that he did artwork.
Yeah, and so I said to Dave, do you think it'd be really cheeky to ask him to do the artwork for the album? And Dave was like, well, no, why? So I was like, right, okay. So I asked him, and he was really happy to do it. So I said to him, well, I said, me and Dave aren't going to give you any ideas from our mind. We'd rather you just went away, listened to the album like you have. And he knew it. He knew what it was about. He knew what the stories were. He knew the vibe. And then he just come back with that. And see that yet again. That was the first idea he come up with. The album sleeve is his first idea. And me and Dave just went, are you fucking messing? And we were just like, oh my God, that's it. But then we got round to Dave's and had a brainstorming session for like the inner sleeve and the back of the album. And there's a little booklet going to be in it. And what he come up with, in conjunction with our ideas as well, is nothing short of just fantastic, Dara. Oh. And when it comes out, the physical copy, honestly, just wait until you see it. It's just, I mean, and look, I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I'm not full of myself. I'm not. But when you do something and you think, oh my God, that's just really good. Yes. And it's me that's done it. I'm just proud of what Josh has done because it's it's his magic, it's his baby. He's the one that's brought it to the table, and it just the music and the artwork just fit together like the old style albums, you know, like Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
You know, that type of thing where I hate to use this word, I hate it, but the product, the whole picture, the whole thing just really fits together well.
It does. It does. The aesthetic is lost nowadays in the world of music. I mean, you remember, of course you remember with Dave, rifling through bins at Probe or wherever it is.
Oh, yeah.
Taking a punt on something like 4AD or Factory or whatever, because the artwork was bonza. So so this is something that I lose my mind with. The token degree I've got is in fine art, and I'm a real stickler for, if you're going to put something out and you're going to spend time, energy and effort, make it look good, make it look presentable. And at the end of the day, that's been lost now. We've already established that albums are just a conglomerate of filler. Really, there's no real B-sides in the industry anymore. It's changed immeasurably, but it just places more importance on how things look. And when I saw the cover, I was blown away, because I thought it reeks of huge budget, a major label budget production, in terms of its impact, and what it does, it instantly creates a world in your mind that you're going to be transported somewhere.
But the genius of it from him is, are the girls waiting for that rocket to land?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Or has it taken them there, and it's taken off to get more people? So it's all about interpretation. I mean, another band who did it brilliantly was The Farm with Spartacus, and they had the washing up powder.
And the washing machine. Yeah,
it was absolutely fucking genius, and that album did it again. So the music and the cover came together. Obviously, there's inspiration from Liverpool bands, and it come together as a package that just blew you away. And that's what we were looking to do. And touch wood, I hope we've achieved it.
I think, well, judging by what you said and what I've seen, you already have, because it's such a grabbing, wonderfully unique visual that. I mean, I want to get a copy. I'm going to speak to the old management of yours and see if I can get a high res version of it, just so I can have one, just to look at it.
Dave, I'm sure Dave would send you, if you want a copy of the poster or you want a copy of the album sleeve. I'm sure Dave would be able to send you a high res version.
Yeah, I'd love that. I would love that, because it's artwork. That in itself is Louvre material, and I'm not blowing smoke up your arse.
I can send you an AO sized poster.
That'd be awesome.
You know.
Awesome. I'll get that laminated. Okay, yeah, great. So on some more business, because I don't want to abuse your valuable time, but I wanted to ask you, Dave, you work with a myriad of people. I mean, I've looked at your CV over the years, and it's beyond impressive. And I know that Mick's worked with. I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I don't know as much about Mick as I do about you, but that's just how it goes. But if you guys were given a budget by X label, saying, "All right, it doesn't matter how much it costs. We're going to chuck you in the studio. I want you to record a cover version. Make it your own, not some verbatim apples to apples type thing, but what would you like to do and really go to town on? If you,
I can give you an answer for what I'd like to do.
Okay, go ahead.
All Tomorrow's Parties by the Velvet Underground.
Brilliant. Okay.
What a great choice.
That's a great record. I mean, I prefer Japan's version myself, but
fuck off. Be fucking silly.
No, it's just.
It is best Brian.
Sylvian wrecked that one. Yeah. So okay. So you do that, and so let me ask, just briefly. It's a song to be reckoned with. We all know that.
Yeah.
What would you do? Would you do anything out the ordinary on it, or would you try to stay true to it? What would you do?
No,
Vocal.
I'd stay true to it. I'd stay true to it, but I'd just do a moon version of it. I'd just do our own version of it.
Just
But,
moonify it.
yeah,
That's it,
I would, yeah. But I wouldn't mess with it because
No.
I just think it's just such a fantastic song. It is the song that got me interested. Well, so a mate of mine said, "Have you heard the Velvets?" And that's
Yeah.
what I thought they were called at first. And obviously we'd smoked a lot of weed at the time, and we were listening to Pink Floyd live at Pompeii. And he went, "I want to put something different on." And I was like, "Okay, I'll never forget it." And he went, "Have you heard of the Velvets?" And I went, "No." And he put All Tomorrow's Parties on, and I went, "Fucking hell, who the hell is this?"
Yeah.
And then he just got me into the Velvet Underground, and that was it. That was it. Then
End of,
just
yeah.
like, there's no going back. Once you're hooked by them, that's it. And
Now
then,
you're an irreversible member of a club now. You can't get out.
Yeah. No.
That's great.
So
All tomorrow's parties.
No, but you see, I think the Velvet Underground are singularly the most important band ever. Because
Wow, that's an accolade.
just
Wow.
their first LP.
Yeah.
Forget White Light, White Heat, inventing heavy metal and all that shit. The first LP, I think, is the blueprint for every different musical medium that followed it. It had everything on it, absolutely everything on it.
Well, you forced me to listen to that this afternoon now.
Oh, it's the most amazing LP. It's just got everything on it. Forget like people like the Jesus and Mary chain and that, which obviously they take from it and that. But I'm on about modern music starts with that album. More than the Beatles, in my humble opinion.
Fantastic. Well, that's the highest of praise. Let's be honest.
The greatest LP ever made. There you go.
That's brilliant. Well, you still haven't told me what would your cover version be, though? Would you have one?
My cover version.
Yeah.
I think Mick's picked a fucking brilliant one.
That's hard to beat. I know, but
Yeah. I don't know. I've no. We've been asked to do something next year, but I don't want to give the game away.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm not really one for thinking of cover versions,
Yeah, I can appreciate it. I mean, I'm not saying I'm obsessed by them. They fascinate me. I always ask the question because invariably you'll get the whole gamut of answers, and I'm just morbidly. Keep
like this.
Maybe you can answer it before the end. But it's interesting to me because it if someone says to me, "I want to do Liza Radley, a jam B-side," I'm thinking, yeah, that's magic. You've actually thought about something. Let me ask you this. You've got 12 tracks on this record. If this was 20 years ago, you would have to pull 3 singles off this and provide B-sides.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any more songs in the can that would be?
Yeah, I've already started to write a second album for Moon.
Wow! So a different piece written in a different time frame. Yeah, marvelous.
So this is the second Moon album. I've got 3 tracks I'm working on already.
That's great, fantastic. I'm really happy to hear that. Just because I'm selfish, you need more stuff. But as I was saying, back to my initial claim that you'd be in the old days. You'd have the A&R guy. You don't hear a single. What are you going to put on the B side? And where I'm going with that is oftentimes when people are forced to do it, they will do a cover version because they've run out of material.
Well, if we had to do that, Dara, so we've got 3 singles already earmarked for release from this album. The first one being "Sing to Me." We've got 2 others that we're sort of keeping under wraps, because Well, because it's exciting to have that mystery about it all.
Yeah.
And if we had to have B-sides, well, I've got 3 tracks I could record for B-sides here anyway.
Brilliant. No, it's just morbid curiosity because the industry's changed immeasurably, as we all know, and it's harder and harder to make a dent. And what you guys are doing, my hat goes off to you. Honestly, I'm not a sycophant by any stretch of the imagination, but I appreciate the immense amount of effort and talent involved with what you've managed to pull off here.
Well, when you consider that this has been completely self-funded, I've paid for this album out of my own money, and Dave has put money into it as well. And he's also bought instruments, and he's also bought software platforms. Well, software, I should say, software packages.
Yeah.
So everything that we've paid for has been paid for by us. We've
self-funded. It's an absolute. It's a stellar example of, what you're saying in terms of the ethic of the album. It says you are capable of anything. If I know it sounds really quite rudimentary, but if you put your mind to something and you care about it enough and you align yourself with the right people, which you've done, you've aligned yourself, the pair of you together, the synergy that I can just witness right now is wonderful to experience, because it's effortless, and it's like I've known you lot for years, and I love it. Because, and I appreciate that. So thank you very much for your candor and honesty.
But Dara, it's like the last track on the LP.
Yes.
Because you can.
That's Yeah, and you've proven it. You've proven it. I just hope and I pray that the so-called influencers of the day on at the BBC and wherever they might reside, somebody latches onto this record and gives it the prominence it deserves, because people need to hear this. People need to hear this record.
Well, I agree. I agree, and I really hope. Do you know what, though, Dara? There's one reason why I hope somebody latches onto it, just to give us the money to be able to record more music. But might I just add, it's people like you, Dara, that really help. It's people like you and Chris Curry and others, Roger Hill and others, that Dave Monks, that really, really help musicians and give them a platform to speak, give them a platform to play to play air their wares. It's lads like you, all you lads and girls are the new John Peel. You're the people that really bring music to the masses, and so really you should take a big pat on the back as well.
Appreciate that.
You know what I mean?
Appreciate it. I'm just lucky that I get to talk to people like you and share music, because at the end of the day, as corny as it might sound, all I want to do is share music, i.e., you got to hear this. Just like you and Dave, it's the same thing. You want to share. That's all you want.
We're not asked about fame or anything like that, but it would be nice if this did well and someone latched onto it. But what I've got to say now is, it would be the only reason to say it would be nice is because it would hopefully, touch wood, give us some funding to be able to record more music, and that's all we're bothered about. Oh, and to play it live, because we're
keep going and play it live.
We're definitely going to be playing this live. So for anybody listening, you'll be seeing Moon live.
That's brilliant. I wish I could witness that. That'd be quite an expensive trip on my part, but
you will. Don't you worry.
I'm made up for you. I really am. And Dave, massive respect. Thank you so much for going the extra mile here. And anyone who's going to be lucky enough to watch this is going to get more than what they bargained for. It's not just a record review. It's a heck of a lot more than that. So on that note, I'll be in touch very, very soon. I'd like to thank you again. And I'm just so happy for you.
Can I just say, Dara?
Yes, sir.
This is one of the most enjoyable interviews I've ever had.
Oh, crikey! Well,
and it's a testament to you. And honestly, so thank you so much for your interest in the first place.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed it so much.
Oh, likewise. I'm buzzing. I really am. I'm gonna after I hang up, I'm gonna be buzzing, and I'll be a pain in the arse now with you two guys trying to find out what's coming next down the pipe from your creative.
What I'd like
uses.
to do, though, I'd like to say thank you to you as well, because you really deserve it. And I'd like to say a thank you from the whole band, from the whole of Moon, to you
Oh,
for
thank
being
you.
so kind, for saying kind things about us, and for having us on your show. And I will echo what Dave's just said. This is probably the most enjoyable interview I've ever had the pleasure of doing, and I'd like to thank you, Dara, for that. Honestly, I would.
Well, I'm immensely grateful to the pair of you, and that's made me a very happy chap. So I'll leave it at that because I'm all blushing now. I'll talk to you very, very soon. Thanks both of you again very, very much, and we'll have you on for the second album, yeah.
Thank you, yes, but spread the word about us as much as you can if you don't mind.
I'll do as much as I humanly possibly can.
Thank you, Dara. It's been lovely to meet you and speak to you, mate. It really has.
All the best. One of these days we'll meet, I hope. Take care.
Oh, yeah. Okay, take care.
Thank
Good
you.
night, Dara.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
Dave. Bye.